Don't think it, don't say it. 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 No! What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my review of The Bye-Bye Man. Let me go ahead and put a little precursor warning out there before I even get started. If you are sensitive to strong language, or if you have small children in the room, please turn this video off until later, or have them leave the room, because your boy is good and pissed off after seeing this thing. And coming along with me to review The Bye-Bye Man is a new addition to my movie reviews, reserved specially for the worst of the worst, the officially licensed swear counter. Patent pending. Alright, it's like ripping off a band-aid. Let's go ahead and get this shit over with. The Bye-Bye Man tells the story of the 4 dumbest college students I've ever seen that take on this man or this curse titled The Bye-Bye Man, where the more you say it, the more you think it, the more people know about it, the more powerful it becomes. People, it takes a really special version of horrible to get me to look back on my bottom 10 movies of 2016 and reflect on them and think, you know, they weren't all that bad. I'm not exaggerating. This is one of the worst fucking movies I have ever sat through in my life. If I did a top 10 worst movies of the past 10 years, this movie would be on the top tier of that list. January horror movies are never the cream of the crop. They never will be. They never have been. But God, this is one of the worst, most inept, and horribly put together pieces of shit that I could ever fathom would make it to the big screen. There's things in this movie that's so fucking horrible it would make you question a straight-to-DVD release. Even Redbox is too much to ask for this fucking pile. The one and only small praise that I can give to this movie is that the opening scene is pretty decent. It sets you into the mood of the movie, it gives some intriguing questions, it interests you in the story that this movie pretends to go along to tell you. Now, as far as the bad of this movie, everything else. This movie is not scary, entertaining, it's not even unintentionally funny. I saw this in a theater of about 15 people, and I'm here to tell you that was probably the most quiet, noiseless experience I've ever had in a movie theater in my life. Nobody gasped, nobody laughed, nobody cried, nobody screamed, nobody made a sound whatsoever. They just sat there and marveled at the gigantic piece of shit that they just paid to see. So who's responsible for bringing this to the big screen, you ask? Well, the screenwriter's biggest credit is that he's an ex-contestant of Survivor, and the director's biggest credit to her filmography is Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror. This is real life, people. You can't write this. This movie was filmed back in 2015, but as if it wasn't horrible enough, they stuck it on the shelves, sat on it for a while, hacked away the original R rating to this watered-down PG-13 rating to the point where it's almost laughable that it's PG-13. You get people that are shot point-blank with shotguns, no blood whatsoever. The acting in this movie is ass. Every single character in this movie is in this crazy over-the-top heightened state for the entire time, like they all just did lines of cocaine. Except for the main girl, she accidentally took downers. The creature design for the Bye-Bye Man, horrible, lazy. A guy in a hoodie walking around, skinny-ass motherfucker trying to poke you in the middle of the night. Yeah, that's real scary. Not a single person put any effort whatsoever into this movie. The person who worked the hardest on this crock of shit was the poor bastard that they got to go and write "Don't think it, don't say it" all over the walls of their fucking set. It's almost laughable how inept and pointless the scenes are in this movie. Every single scene in this movie either makes no sense whatsoever or has no purpose whatsoever. I'll go ahead and throw a spoiler warning out there for courtesy, guys, but spoilers don't apply to some bottom-feeding irate piece of shit like this movie. So let me describe some of the scenes of this movie. So after our main characters get this house that's off campus, this is where the rest of the movie pretty much takes place for the most part, they decide to have a seance. Why? Just cuz. They throw a little house party, and towards the end of the house party, they throw in a scene where everybody who's left that's not passed out drunk decides to play Nerf baseball in the backyard. Why? Just cuz. Then you get a scene of the main character walking upstairs. Gee, jocks love their games. The day after the party, the main black character and the voodoo chick who is doing the seance decide to have a conversation about their little night of passion previously and his inability to perform. Does it go anywhere? No. And after the plot of the movie and the curse of the Bye-Bye Man really starts to take place, everything makes even less sense. Once the main character reaches the point where he starts to understand the curse, he starts to understand what spreads it, what makes it more powerful, he decides to go to the library and research the Bye-Bye Man. How? Going onto an old research website and typing in the Bye-Bye Man. When that doesn't work, he types in, "Don't think it, don't say it." Ooh, I got a match. The librarian comes up and asks him, "Gee, son, what are you looking for? Do you need any help with anything?" And even though he understands the curse and understands how it's spread and is trying to prevent it, trying to stop it, he looks her dead in the eye and Oh, yes, Miss Watson, I'm trying to research this curse that kills people where you're not supposed to say the name or talk about it. It's called the Bye-Bye Man. Have you heard anything about it? Do you know where I can find information on it? You said it's called the Bye-Bye Man? Yeah, the Bye-Bye Man. Are you sure it's not Hi Man? B-Y-E, Bye-Bye Man. I don't know if we have anything called the Bye-Bye Man. So you don't have anything in the Bye-Bye Man? Do you know anybody who knows anything about the Bye-Bye Man? I really am trying to research the Bye-Bye Man. It's very important that I know more about the Bye-Bye Man. Then after that entire exchange is over with, they track down this old document that was filed away where nobody could find it, that the character at the beginning of this movie wrote, discussing everything about the Bye-Bye Man. So what does the main character do? Takes a pen, goes over the document, scratches little lines over the Bye-Bye Man and every single word and line that it shows up in, just like this. Like you're not supposed to be able to read that shit. Then it comes to the point where other main characters of the movie start to understand the curse way more than they should. So Voodoo Chick comes back, Seance Woman from earlier, she kills her roommate, leaves a suicide note, plans to murder the rest of the main characters and herself, and while on the way to do this, and supposedly understanding how the Bye-Bye Man works with the apparitions and the curse and blah, 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 all that other bullshit, on the way to doing this, she stops in her tracks, jumps out of a moving vehicle, and runs across the train track to save 3 random ass people. And to top it all off, you have this horribly random scene where the main character finally knows how to triumph over evil, and he's on the way to save the day, listening to a song in his truck, pounding on everything in sight like a manic fucking schizophrenic who just did more cocaine. People, I'm not exaggerating. These are the scenes in this movie. At the core of it all, the whole concept of the Bye-Bye Man makes no fucking sense in this movie whatsoever. The movie doesn't bother trying to explain it, give an origin, give an explanation for it, even though they riddle the movie with these little clues that you would think would come into play later on. These random coins that show up, the imagery of this train, this apparition of this train, where does that play in? We don't know. This dog that shows up, which is one of the most horrible fucking CGI animals I've ever seen. It's worse than Mortal Kombat from the 1990s. And it made it into this movie. And then the entire solution to the bye-bye curse that this movie tries to get you to buy into, that the main character as well as the dude in the 60s that the movie opens up with finally understands, is that once the curse gets to a certain point, when so many people know his name, when they keep saying it, they keep thinking it, he comes to kill them. If you know the name, he's coming for your ass. Well, how do they solve that? They go and they kill everybody for him. What's the victory there? What did you win? He was going to kill them, so you killed them first. Now you've incriminated yourself. What? This movie's fucking retarded. And now getting on to the real problem of this movie is the fact that movies like this continue to get made, they continue to get put into theaters, and they continue to make a profit. Studios know that they can put out little sorry-ass pieces of shit fucking films like this in the middle of January, the middle of February, hell, even in the middle of October, and just because it's the only horror movie we've had for a while, and they market the living shit out of it in the theaters and on TV and online, I swear to God, this movie had a bigger marketing campaign than Captain America. They know people are gonna go see it. The only way to stop this, guys, is to stop seeing it. The only people who should see pieces of shit movies like this, especially this one, is people like me who go and put themselves through the misery so that I can tell you to avoid it. Movies like this is the reason why people are out there that will never take horror seriously as a genre of filmmaking. Movies like this is why some people have given up on horror altogether and no longer watch them. Movies like this are the reasons why films like Don't Breathe and The Conjuring are such huge breaths of fresh air for horror fans, because they're not fucking horrible. I know I'm ranting pretty heavily on this one, guys, but as a fan of film and as a fan of horror, this thing offends the shit out of me that major movie studios can actually have the balls to think that we deserve to pay money for this motherfucker. There are people out there, screenwriters, directors, people with ideas that cannot get a fucking penny to get their ideas onto screen, to express their creativity, to entertain people. But pieces of shit like this make it out every single year without the intention of entertaining you, just the intention of getting your money and getting a quick profit out of you. It's insulting and it's bullshit, and I'm tired of it. The fact that this movie came out last weekend and more than doubled its budget pisses me off. So on that note, to wrap up this little rant of mine, The Bye-Bye Man is not only the worst movie that I've seen in years, but it's gonna have a hell of a time getting beaten for the worst movie of 2017. If there is a movie coming out that's worse than this movie, I pray to God that I'm spared from it. Do not buy this movie, do not see it in theaters for any price, do not watch it on Netflix, don't rent it for Redbox, don't borrow it, don't steal it, don't pirate it, don't think it, don't say it, don't watch it. Fuck this movie. So what did you guys think of The Bye-Bye Man? And I kind of hope that nobody answers that question, because I hope all of you were lucky enough to not have to sit through this goddamn movie. Put all your thoughts on this piece of shit down below. Did it offend you as much as it offended me? Do you actually like this thing? Please, God, if you do, put your thoughts down below and tell me why. Please like and share this video and hit that subscribe button. That way you get to come back and see me next time. But if that's not soon enough to check out some more of my videos, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.